I am having a tough time. Oh God, I have no idea what I just did. Can you
But we're
guys still see
live.
me?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I don't have a chat area, so can you guys see the chat?
Mm-hmm.
The chat is up.
Yes.
Okay, so welcome everyone to All About the Joy. As always, having technical difficulties a year into this process. Well, 8 months. So, Rick, hi. Always
Hello,
nice to see
hello.
you.
You
I
as
want to
well.
welcome my friend Kelly.
Woo.
Hi, Kelly. Woo. So nice to see you. I was gonna ask you a long time ago to come on the show, and I never did because I was like, she's so busy and everything, and she's always out auditioning, and she got her kids and her husband and her job, and so I was so glad that we were able to connect and figure out a way for you to be on the show. So I'm really excited.
I'm excited too. So I'm so happy you asked me. I figured I wasn't going to make the cut to be on the show.
Oh my God, not in a million years.
Look who's
And
here. Tony.
you know
Tony's
what?
in the
I would
building.
say hi, Tony, but I'm just gonna ignore the motherfuckers who are streaming right now. Hey, Melanie, how are you? How you doing, Melanie? I'm
Hey,
sorry, I'm
Mel.
swearing. I'm sorry already, right off the bat. But all these guys from Late Night Parents are somehow disrespecting the respect we're supposed to have for each other. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, my.
Um, but I do know that Tommy is not feeling well. Hold on one
Okay.
second, please.
Is that
Oh my
Tommy?
God, this is my brother from another mother. So,
Oh,
Billy, I love you with all my heart, but I'm actually live right now. You want to say hi to everyone in YouTube land?
yes, this is live, man.
Tonight is your night. That is correct, and I believe it is 6 p.m.
Yeah.
time, isn't it?
Yeah, we just went live with Kelly and Rick, and we have people in the chat, and they're listening to you right now because I have you on speaker.
That sounds great. I'll just let them know that I was giving you a friendly update. Let's chit chat and see how our lives are. I love you very much.
I love
Carmen,
you.
and I hope your show is a great success.
Thank you. I love you, Billy. I'll talk to you later. I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay,
Bye.
speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry. You know, you got to answer all your calls from family. I'm so sorry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You
Sorry.
never know.
Okay, so let's start with you, Kelly, if you don't mind talking. I know you mentioned something about our topic, but we'll talk about that later. I want to talk about you and acting, if that's okay first.
Okay. Yeah.
And I want to apologize. I really cannot see the chat that well. I do see that Tony thinks he can keep saying hi like we're going to bother,
Hey,
but we're
Cynthia.
not. Oh, hi, Cynthia. How are you?
Tony said he finished right before we came on. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking to him. I don't care. We're done. It's over. It's over. So, Kelly, first I thought I would ask you to share with everybody how we met, because I always do that first, if that's okay, because Rick doesn't even know.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we met in an online acting class with Howard Fine Studio. And we were participants in, well, it was an acting technique, right? It was a long, I think, like 6
I'm
weeks,
turning
I
off my
wanna say.
phone right now, everybody. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead. It was acting. It was his it was Howard Fine Studios, who I always tell everyone he's one of the best acting coaches in the country. His book is amazing. And we met because it was during COVID, right? We both were taking
Yes,
online
during
classes,
COVID,
and
yep.
we met in his first, I thought it was scene study, but you're probably right. I don't
No,
know.
I think it was like acting technique, like whatever the first level was, but it lasted for a bit. I think we had like a good 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And
I hated you. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Let's
right
just tell
away.
the truth.
I felt like though we bonded because there was, and I don't, but anyway, there was an incident with another student that sort of.
Okay,
didn't
wait,
take
Rick.
criticism well.
Wait, I'm going to
Yes.
interrupt. Is she really low to you? Because to me, she's extremely low.
Could be louder. It's not super low, but you can actually, Carmen, on the side.
I can't.
Oh, because you're
I
using
don't know where it
Firefox.
is. That's what I did. It another one. Hold on a second, Kelly. Because here's the problem. If we don't do this now, then I am crying in editing. And here's what I don't see, Rick. I don't. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind.
Oh, good.
It's just on the opposite side, and it's
So weird.
like big and different. Kelly, can you just say, I don't know, Boston rocks? I don't know. Say something. I don't know.
Okay, Boston rocks.
Okay, yes.
I'm obviously not from there because there was no
I know, but I am. So,
Yes,
hey. All right, go ahead. So acting class,
so,
we
well,
bonded
anyway,
over.
there was a incident with one of the other students that sort of, and then Carmen and I think you were being a reader for me for we had a self-tape we scene. And
You have to tell people these people are not acting people.
Okay, so self-tape is
explain what that is.
She's being a reader. So I have a script and there's 2 roles and I'm assigned 1 role, and then she's essentially being the voice of the other role. And then I was using my phone to tape myself doing this scene with responding to her voice, essentially, because she's off camera. So nobody's seeing her. And I sort of just took a chance. I was like, all right, but can we just talk about what happened? And if we can't, that's fine, but with just because
the gossip.
Stop thinking about it. And I know that sounds so terrible, but it was an interesting thing. And she just completely went along and didn't judge me for whatever I said.
No, why would I? We were all feeling the same thing. I mean, basically we were all hating somebody in the class, and it's a he. I think it was a he, right? Or
no, it was a she.
Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I hated a lot of people in the class, right? But can I just say something? What we were doing in the class, because I think this is the interesting, is what happens in actual film. When you see a close-up of an actor and he's talking or she's talking, they're usually speaking to the camera and someone who is reading to them, their scene partner. And I don't think people understand that, because when it's done so seamlessly well, you think you're just watching these people going back and forth because the camera work is going like that. So I was acting as a reader for her. Yeah.
And spoiler alert, a lot of the times the other actor's not there.
It's not the right. It's
you're not actually going back and forth with
right.
a real person. You're filming at different times, and that's difficult because
and if you're nobody like me and you have a scene with like Tina Fey is not going to show up to read lines with me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be reading with whoever happens to be there, and I've got to do all the emotion, all the whatever, as if it's Tina Fey. You can ask me why I said Tina Fey later, but anyways, go ahead, Kelly. I just wanted to teach the people. Go ahead.
Yes, so that's how we met, and we just sort of bonded, I guess. And I asked her to be a reader a lot, even if I had auditions after that, and we just kept in touch and sort of formed this relationship. And it was all over Zoom and electronics, because it was during COVID, and I mean, such a weird, time to kind of form a friendship without actually. I think it was almost a year, I want to say, later before we actually saw each other.
So let's back up, because you actually lived in California and now you live in Chicago, right? So, but you lived here with your husband and your kids, and as soon as we could, you came up and stayed. Oh no, you had a big time audition.
I had a job. Yeah,
you had a job. So I said, come stay at my place, because that's what you do as an actor. Yeah. You help each other out. So she came and stayed. She stayed in a little bunk bed thingamajig. Yeah, I didn't give you my bed. I didn't give you my bed, right?
I wouldn't have expected that. I would have been like, no, you're sleeping in your bed in your house.
I know. Well, because I mean, you have a house, I just have a 1-bedroom by the beach, but we went to dinner and stuff, and it was just kind of cool, because Rick, it's kind of like what you talk about when I always ask you, when you meet people in person, does it change things? And you say no. This is different because we're not talking about romantic stuff, right? Of course not. But I actually think it just made it better.
I did.
Yeah.
I mean,
we became better friends, I think, because of it. Yeah.
And now we have to be far apart again.
But we stay in touch, and you've helped me with quite a few things, and I keep forgetting how much younger you are than me and Rick, I guess, at this point, but because you started off in the green room, and I was like, don't talk, don't say a word, don't say anything. She's like, people gonna hate me, but I don't really know all the shows from Norman Lear. Because when you connect with somebody, you really it does, age kind of loses its meaning, you know. But Rick, do you have any questions for Kelly? She's an actual different from me acting wise. She is actually going out and auditioning all the time and getting jobs and work. I have kind of stopped doing that because I'm doing other things. But let me also just say this, and I'm gonna give you some props. Kelly, don't get mad at me. I don't care. Don't get mad at me. So I meet a lot of people in this town. I do. And I meet a lot of people who know the people I work for, or people that know that I have some connections or whatever. And I also meet a lot of people in acting class because I'm always trying to build my tool as well and stay on point with performance and stuff. The thing about Kelly that's really cool, it's not even that she's a great actress. I know. Just don't react. Good, good. I love that. You're acting right now. Good. What I love about it is she changed her entire career, and I'll leave it up to her whether or not she wants to talk about that, from what she used to do to take this shot recently. And she's really good naturally, but she's also obsessed with working on it. And she's got that it factor thingamajiggy, and she's so down to earth and cool and shit. And so I love connecting with people that I think have integrity and talent and are going to persevere no matter what. And I'm going to make sure I get my 10% when the bitch makes it large. Like, I ain't stupid. No, I'm just kidding. But I had to throw that out there because that's the other part too. It was easy to gravitate towards you, you know?
Thank you. I don't deserve it.
I love
Thank
you.
I love you too. I mean, give me a break. This is Carmen. Like,
I know, but can you tell me about what you, I mean, do you mind sharing how you made this choice to become an actor?
No. And so I actually started when I was very little. My parents got me an agent, and I was doing the, kid modeling thing, and I would go to auditions, and we lived in San Diego at the time. So the commute is something. Yep. And I actually got some very good callbacks for films, and they didn't want to make the drive.
Your parents didn't want to make the drive.
Yeah, it was frustrating. And to give them credit too, one of them would have had to quit work, and we just didn't. Yeah. We financially could not do that as a family. So it's not like they were just like, I mean, there was a reason. But I still remember memorizing like little paragraphs from books or whatever, and then going and having to, do that. And I enjoyed it. And I sort of always kept a foot in. I got very involved with sports. I played basketball into college. And so I couldn't ever be like, I never went out for main roles, but I would take an acting class.
Right.
Because I would gravitated towards it. And then after school, I ended up in law enforcement. I'm
sorry, say that again.
I ended up in law enforcement. I was just a regular patrol officer, but doing all the regular, beat cop stuff. And I looked very young. And
really? Shocking.
I did a lot of undercover work. So I just argue I kept trying to act, but just in a different like I was like, well, I'm gonna make it happen this way.
But this is why I love your story so much, because I motherfucking hate cops. You and I have had this conversation. And one of my dearest friends was a motherfucking cop. I love this shit.
And sometimes I'm hesitant because I really understand why that's very triggering for many people. And but I know how I acted and behaved and what I tried to do, but unfortunately there's a lot of other people that don't, that are it's not a great experience. But so I was in law enforcement. I ended up going federal, and I did that for total, between being a cop and fed, 11 years. And also a lot of the stuff on that side was sort of undercover type stuff.
Okay, wait, Rick, is her sound going in and out for you?
I think it's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was.
How long were you a cop for? I mean, all of it. Like, so we could just skip to the good part when you decided to quit.
I was a cop for 5 years, and then with the feds for 6.
For 6 years, so 11 years. Yeah. So you were a cop for 11 years. And what made you? I mean, I remember kind of this whole thing, but what made you be like, yeah, I'm done.
I was well. First of all, I was just very unhappy with a lot of what was going on. And my husband, who's awesome, was like, well, what have you always wanted to do?
Thank you, Cynthia. Yeah.
And
That's a good husband, though.
yeah. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, just like a hobby, or just what's something you want to do? I was like, well, I've always wanted to actually take real, acting classes and actually be able to progress. I've only taken just here or there. And so my husband is like the total optimist and idealist, and I'm very much the pessimist and realist. And he's like,
I
so
love
why
her
aren't you?
husband.
He's like, so why don't you? And I'm like, oh, okay. It's so easy. He's like, I mean, as long as you don't go to the most expensive class.
Right. Which you did, but okay, good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Not my first classes. My first classes were out of somebody's house.
I thought you were talking about Howard
Fine.
Because his are expensive. I mean, but he's the best. I think he's
the
one
best.
of the best.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter.
So then Howard was not until I got.
That was later.
That was later. Yeah. So I started doing those classes and got some headshots. And then, just like it happens in California, literally, again, my husband on a run, being the most extroverted person on the planet, sees this couple walking, and they had college shirts from Trinity University. And he's like, oh, is that from, like, total stranger? This is him. Oh, is that from, San Antonio? They're like, yeah. And so he just starts talking. He's like, oh, and then they finds out she's an actor, director, writer, and her husband's a producer. And they're actually writing a film about sex trafficking, which I did a lot of my undercover work as a cop. A lot of it was about underage sex trafficking. And he goes, my wife is an actress, like she did this, and I was like, you did not say that. No, everybody says that when they meet this couple. Please, I'm not a real actress. Like I was doing that because I just started classes. And he was like,
one thing I hate that you say. Yeah,
I know. And he's like, they want your number, whatever. So anyway, that led to sort of my first, I'm like a glorified background person in that film. It's called Wake Up. But I was also a consultant for the law enforcement side of it. Mm-hmm. And so I met Janet that's Janet Perry, director. I met her, and through that project, then she turned me on to Howard Fine. And so then
she's the one who turned you on. Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
She was like, you have to take his classes. And then I signed up.
Okay, then
and you were there.
Awesome. Yeah. That is so cool. Yeah, I think there's also I think you and I have had this conversation about this line of humility versus factual things, like I'm not a real actor. Yes, you are. Like we go back and forth with it.
Yeah. At that time too, that's how I felt. Now I wouldn't say that. But at that time I thought,
now she's like, I'm an actress. I'm an actress.
No, I can just get out. I'm an actor.
Yeah. Yeah. Rick, do you have any questions? Because Rick don't even need to be here. He's like, I'm gonna just jump the fuck off.
No, like literally everything I'm thinking to ask has already been answered.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying. You know what? I'm never gonna know. I don't think Tommy's coming on. Tommy, we hope you're feeling better, love.
Yes.
He wasn't feeling that great, so he said he might not make it. But do you have any, Rick? You could interrupt at any time, but I know it's hard because we could go back and forth.
Well, we'll talk more when we get to Norman Lear.
Oh, he don't give a shit about you, Kelly.
No, I do. I'm listening. Are you kidding me?
No. Well, we could intersperse it. I think for me, it's also this kind of idea that I love your spirit and that we connect and that you're so much younger than I am. And I was just reminded of that because when we were in the green room, we were talking about how you've never actually seen or watched a full show of Norman Lear, and you were like, I'm so sorry. I was like shocked. And then I realized you're only in your 30s, right? You're like 30 something, 31 or something, right? So I mean,
thank you. That's nice.
I'm working with you. With you. But you're young. You're in your 30s. So it doesn't matter. But it's just I mean, a lot of the shows of Norman Lear were also before our time. We were watching reruns when we were growing up as well. So Rick, take it away with Norman Lear, since we'll need you to speak at some point in the podcast.
But I did see The Princess Bride, and he was a part of getting that.
Yeah, he was a big part of that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great movie, Princess Bride.
So all these shows for us older 50 plus people that we remember.
50? No, I'm just kidding.
Some of us. Yeah, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't exist. The Jeffersons wouldn't exist. Archie Bunker wouldn't exist.
All in the Family. Which one
All
was your
family.
favorite?
Um, you know what? Where's that list? I had a list.
I sent y'all a
Oh
list.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Actually, the one that currently, even now, still makes me laugh, and it was my father's favorite too, was actually Sanford and Son.
Oh, see, and I never could watch that. It
I
just wasn't my
know, I
thing.
know.
I never could watch that. Well,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think I really liked him a lot, but I liked him more because he was also so politically astute, right? So Kelly, I know that you didn't watch any of his shows, but I didn't watch Maude either.
Yeah, I
But
didn't
I
watch
didn't
that.
watch a lot of these shows because they were also before our time. And as I mentioned when we talked about I Love Lucy, which he didn't have anything to do,
Mhm.
I was also at rehearsal most of the time where I was doing other things. I wasn't home watching TV all the time. But one of the things that he is known for is, I guess nowadays it would be considered, I mean, really taboo subjects. Back then it was too, like All in the Family, the big thing there wasn't just the race issues that
Mhm.
he would play with and make us all think about. Because Archie Bunker was a
Boy.
racist, bigoted, terrible person, but you loved him like because you wanted him to be better than what he
Hmm.
was. You know what I mean? And you knew that he had a heart. He had a heart, but he was the epitome of like just racism. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
also he was very sexist. His wife was supposed to be this, and this, Edith, and also she gets raped on that show, right? I mean,
I
we don't
remember.
see that, but she gets that was another taboo subject where she ends up that was a big deal for that show. So you're talking about the 70s,
Hmm.
and Sammy Davis Jr. was on that show.
Hmm.
There were just so many stars that came on this show, but it was really well done. And then all the spin-offs, which was
Yep.
Good Times and the
Jeffersons.
Jeffersons and
Yeah.
I mean Norman Lear, every show seemed to just do a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off, which is also unheard of today. It's not
Hmm.
really common.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
then one of his more recent things, and that was just looking at the list, but it said it was like documentary, America Divided. And it was
Yeah.
about these different issues, but with some big name actors portraying the different.
Yeah.
I was, seems like he
Yeah.
continued that trend, going forward all the way up to more, whatever, mid 2000s.
Right. It seems sad to me though that like nothing's really changed for the better. I mean, things have changed for the better, but I don't
I feel like
know.
it sort of went backwards a little.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Rick, how do you feel about it since you've seen the shows or
Yeah, I mean, I was watching somebody the other day and they were like, you could never get away with this today. The stuff they
Yeah.
said, whoo, never, ever. And
Yeah.
even today, it's like, especially the Archie Bunker, he's like the absolute unbelievablest of all. And that's not a word, unbelievablest, but it is now. Um,
Okay, it's a
and
lot.
oh my gosh, the stuff he said, it's like, what? Oh my, I
Yeah.
cannot believe you said that. But the part of him that was funny to me was, he didn't care. He spoke his mind. He did not care what anybody thought. He just blurted it out.
Well, I'll tell you guys all a little secret. I never talk about people I know or name drop or whatever. And I didn't really know Carol O'Connor, but Archie Bunker is actually Carol O'Connor. That's his name. And one of my clients had lost her son to drug addiction, and so didn't he. And they knew each other very well. So I had the blessing in a weird way to meet him a few times when I first came out to Los Angeles. And I was like, like, what do you do with that? Because I'm not actually meeting him as me. I was basically somebody's assistant and in the room, you know what I mean? But it was always interesting to me that he is an actor. He was not Archie Bunker,
Yeah.
and I think we forget that. And I'm going to bring it to a movie I just recently saw, which you all know that I wrote a blog post about it, Maestro. And Bradley Cooper. It's like any other movie. A great actor will portray someone, but it's not indicative of who they are. They can bring a piece of them, like the great actors bring a piece of them to it, or they find the character within them or whatever it is. But you have to be able to separate who the actor is from the character. And I think that was what was interesting about Carol O'Connor was I didn't even see an ounce of Archie Bunker except that he looked like him, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I wonder if it was hard for him. I wonder if it was hard for him to be a racist as a character and then, you know.
Yeah, I could see that. Some people being mad at him. And he's like, it's just a character. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
Well, I think, yeah, as an actor, if you do, especially when you are talking about people who are playing villains, for lack of a better, if we're just going to overjudge.
Right.
If they do their job well, people do. They get like,
right.
you know, death threats. And it's like, whoa, how can we talk about race unless we have the racist? Like, if you don't have it, you can't show it. We have to actually show the reality and the truth, even if it's a little, but I don't think it probably was. But just the point is, we have to show this. Otherwise, there's no way to open up the dialogue. And so somebody has to be that role and do it in an authentic way, because otherwise it doesn't work.
And he was so good at it because you also loved him. Like, even as people of color, we loved the show. We loved the show because it was talking about something. And I don't want to talk for all people of color because I was way too young. I was, I don't know, 5 when the show came out, whatever, 7, right? We were all really young watching the show. But you remember it because everybody watched it. Everybody watched the show, and it was kind of like the talk of the town afterwards, or the talk of the next day, or whatever people would talk about it. So you would hear all these adults talking about it, and it was just like must-see TV or whatever. I don't even know if it was on NBC.
Plus, remember back then, it's not like today where we have hundreds of channels. We didn't back then. It was only a few.
Right. Is there anything that you do as an actor, Kelly, that you hate doing when you prepare for a character role? Is that too much in the weeds to ask you? But I'm just wondering.
No.
Hey, Brian.
I
just wonder if there's any role you've ever taken that you didn't like.
Yeah, the most recent one I can think of, and it really was more of an audition. I didn't actually get, but I guess in my mind I got to portray the role for the audition, and then I got redirect. And essentially, it was portraying this mom of a teenager. She's a single mom, and her daughter gets pregnant and gets an abortion. And she is like, you can't do that. And I don't want to get into politics. I'm just saying that was the role.
Yeah.
And the way I approached it was, I am a mom. I have 2 daughters.
Right.
So you want to talk about, okay, you know, how would I get into this headspace?
See, I'm losing your mic, and the thing is,
now I do hear it.
I'm losing it so much. So I need you. Are you talking into your computer, or do you actually have like a standalone mic?
No, it's my computer.
Yeah. So if you talk right into your mic, it's right because you keep moving back and forth. So I'm losing you, and I'm not going to be able to recall edit that audio when I edit.
Can you?
Yeah, Cynthia said sound is going in and out. Yeah. You kind of just have to really talk it. I'm gonna buy you one of these for Christmas. Yeah, just talk into your camera so that we can hear the mic.
Hey, Steven.
Okay. So
hi, Steven. Hi, Steven.
I sort of approached more of, okay, what could have happened in my backstory to where this would seem like the worst possible thing in my world to hear my daughter saying. And I still had an element of, I would argue, warmth in there. And also just the conflict of loving my daughter, but just feeling all these things. And the redirect I got was to be very cold. Just.
Oh, that's hard.
And I went, wow, maybe if I weren't a mom.
I was just going to say, I'm not a mother, so I probably could have done it pretty easily.
Like, okay, cool. So that was, and that's like in the moment in the audition room. So you don't have like, can I have 20 minutes? You know, you're just, okay.
Yeah,
and
that's
go
the hard
into it.
part.
And I did, I think my best version of that. I think probably for what they wanted, it still just wasn't holding.
Right.
So I think sometimes when it's something where you have crafted a certain thing and then you're asked to just do the complete opposite and it feels like a really big stretch, that's when you get into the, can I get there? And maybe if I had, you know, I could argue all sorts of things, but I think that was a difficult thing for me. I think the worst, but I don't know if I would say that's the worst thing. I just think when it's something where you're starting to get into, I'm having a hard time finding the motivation to do it that way. But if that's that's your job, you're the actor and the director wants you to do it, it doesn't really matter. You have to find a
Right.
way.
You have to find a way.
So
Brian, I see what you've written and I'm ignoring it. These are people that are not important, except for Tony, Cynthia, and
Well,
Steven
Tony
and
might be.
Melanie.
Tony's in the doghouse for today, I think.
Oh,
Just kidding.
Tony's in the doghouse? Yeah, all right.
Because he was
Why?
on when
Oh, because he was
when we
on.
were
They were on earlier. Whatever. Look
Now-
at Tony saying, "Hey, Kelly." No, no, that's not
When
how
you
it works, baby.
When you said cold mom, I'm thinking that old movie, No More Wire Hangers.
I don't know who that is. What is
That's
that?
oh my gosh. It was like she was, I think, an actress, and the daughter, she was just kind of cuckoo in her
I
head.
know what you're referencing,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember
yeah.
the title. Yeah,
I can't remember either.
Woo.
But
Yeah.
she was
Look
a
at
cold
Brian. She is married with children, bitch. Okay, no. He's like, "Hi, Kelly. I'm Brian." No. Yeah.
So
Kelly,
yeah.
he's Brian and he's in Texas. That's all you need to know, baby. That's all you need.
Yes,
Mommy
Mommy Dearest. That's it.
Yes,
Cynthia
that's
got
what it
it.
is.
Yes.
Mommy Dearest. Right, right,
Yep,
right. We love
yep.
Cynthia. We love
Yes,
Cynthia.
my goodness. You know
um,
what? I just thought
yeah.
for the audio part, you're using a computer, right, Kelly?
Yeah.
So you see underneath the screen where it has all those circles?
All those circles.
No? It's like right underneath the whole orange screen. There's like a bunch
Brian,
of circles.
it's
Oh,
no
yeah,
problem
yeah.
with
I'm sorry,
reading.
yeah.
Relax.
So that very last one, that's like a gear looking one.
Yes.
If you click that, let me see if you can get your audio better. And then it's going to bring up another screen. It's got video, audio, visual. You want to go to
Rick
audio.
is my technical person.
Yeah.
That's why we have him here.
Yeah. You see
Should
that?
be.
See video, audio. You actually see yourself too in the beginning, but once you click that geared thing, you see it? No. If it takes too much time, we're just going to forget it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Because we're going to go right over into Ted's time at 7:50, 7:30-ish. Okay.
Can you hear
Because he
me?
was so rude.
Yeah. Oh, but it's out of sync, it looks like now.
No, she's fine over here.
Yeah?
Say something again, Kelly.
Can you hear me?
Oh, no,
Hello?
it's out of sync now.
Ugh.
What did you make her do, Rick?
I didn't do anything yet.
Well, it didn't give me a lot of options. It just
Oh
says
my God, now
MacBook.
she's out of sync. What did you do, Rick?
I didn't tell her to do anything yet. I just got her to the place to do something. I
Okay.
didn't tell her to do
Cynthia,
anything
thank
yet.
you, baby. Thank you, baby.
Hang on. Let me just try one thing.
Okay. This is gonna mess up my audio so bad. I'm gonna be so upset.
That's why I was trying to see if I can make it better, you know.
She's so awesome. No.
Oh, she got a mic.
I don't know if it'll work. Hang on.
No, it's
Let's-
okay.
let's
It's
see.
all good.
It'll be worth it.
It's fine. She is
Now
in
you
sync.
you might have to go into the settings for sure if you're changing mics. So
If you're changing mics, you might have to. Yeah.
yeah, I don't try to lead you.
I don't
It
know.
does-
I was gonna say that Joel was the worst, but now you're kind of getting up there now. I don't know.
Give some competition.
Yeah. Tony, am I good on your end? Because Rick and them were saying that my internet was going in and out, but now it's
No,
fine. Right?
you're fine. Once you came back, yeah.
I
you're good.
went to a different
Now?
browser. Hello?
Can you hear
I think it's still out of sync. Oh, now it's almost too loud.
Now it's like too loud. Ooh, let me see if I
Too
can
loud.
turn you down.
How's it?
So you know what? If we get to those settings, it's gonna be much better.
How's it now?
Okay, go ahead, Kelly. Talk.
Can you hear me now?
It's very echoey.
I don't know what to do.
No,
you
you're
want to try those settings real quick?
yeah.
Okay,
Go to
I'm
the
in
gear.
settings.
So yeah, hit that gear thing.
And you want
Go to audio,
audio.
and then hit show advanced options,
Okay.
and just click everything.
On.
It's not gonna let you do the stereo one, but everything else just click it all.
It did let me do this. Click it off.
No, on. You want it blue. You don't want it
Okay.
gray. You want it blue.
So
Yeah.
everything's
right.
on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. She's
should
just
help.
echoing because it's bouncing off of her
Yeah.
wall. That's all. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be better than it going in and out and not being able to hear her.
True.
Yeah. It's okay.
I'm
I'm gonna have
sorry.
to do so much editing. Hey everyone, welcome to All About the Joy. It's so great to have you all here. Let's start this over. Yeah, it's all good.
Are you ever in law enforcement? No, I'm just kidding.
I know. So you used to be a cop and now you're an actor, and then I'm just gonna slice it in. Like, no, you know what's so funny is I really like one of my dreams now is to just have somebody edit stuff for me.
One day.
I just need somebody. I just need somebody to give me money. Hey Brian, how you doing, baby? You got any money? Hey baby. I'm sorry, I've been mean to you. No. So where were we? What were we talking about? I forget.
I think just, sort of the plight of an actor. If you've
Plight of an
sort of
actor.
prepared something and then you get a redirect and it's your
Oh, the
job
cold
to figure out
mom. The
the
cold
cold
mom thing.
mom, and then Cynthia was like, "Mommy dearest."
No, that's right.
I'm
You know
putting
what?
the inflection. I don't think she said it like that.
I love every single opportunity of acting I can get. I mean, I know you're the same way. Like if somebody
Yeah.
wants you to play something, you'll just do it. I don't think I've ever questioned anything. Look at Melanie. It's all about the editing. You're so right, Melanie. But I will say one of my heartbreaking moments was when I got a big feature film. I had a small part in it. And Kelly, you already know about this story, but it was a huge film with big stars like Tina Fey and Bradley Whitford and all of these. And anyway, I got to do this little piece. I was playing actually a cop who a dog cop, whatever they're called.
Oh, animal.
Canine. Yeah.
Whatever. I was
Yeah.
whatever. And they were and a news crew was interviewing me about a dog. I forget what the whole thing was because I blanked it out. But anyways, let me just tell you what happened. So I got this role all by myself. I didn't have an agent. It was a big time movie. It was a Ron Howard production. I go on set, and I get to go in a trailer to wait. That never happens. You don't get no trailer, nothing, right? So it was the end of the day shoot. I got to do the shoot, and we had to do it outside on Melrose. And there was all this traffic that was stopped, and there were actually cops there that were hired to move the traffic along. And then there was all these crowds of people, like actually people walking by who stopped to watch this filming, which freaked me out. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? Like you're so excited anyways, but you're on this big production, whatever. So I do my scene and I have to cry. Like I'm a cop, but then I start crying because whatever the dog, I don't know, whatever. I'm so angry because I'm gonna tell you what happened afterwards. I do the scene and the director was like, excellent, cut, great. And they start watching the daily, like they watch it back, right? And my label or whatever it was, my badge or whatever it was no, there was like it had
the nameplate. Yeah.
It had fallen while I was talking. It wasn't secure. So I had to do it again. And, I had to cry and everything. And I was like, okay, I got it. I can do this. He's like, you sure? I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, can I just have some water? And like 5 people come with water. I'm like, thank you. You know what I mean? We take a minute. I do the scene again. And it was even better. It was awesome. It was great. I leave, people clap because they know I've been waiting all day. They know I'm a nobody actor. They know how stressful it was. We did the first take. It was great. The second take was better. That doesn't normally happen, right? Like, especially when a nobody actor. I felt so good about myself. I was like, I am on point. This is the beginning of my life. I knew all this time in Hollywood. Here it is. I got cut from the fucking movie. I got paid for the motherfucking day, a lot of money. But I mean, like a day of work, I forget it was like $1,500 or something. And I had no agent or whatever. So it was amazing money, right? Because I am a SAG actor. But I knew I reached out to the producer because no one had reached out to me. And usually within like 2 or 3 weeks, you kind of know when they start doing the editing. Oh, Brian, please. You'll hear about it. So it was like 6 months, 7 months later, whatever. And, they told me that I got cut. And they were like, it's not you. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, It's like, yeah. Right. Well, my
Yeah.
scene was supposed to be, I don't know if it was Tina Fey or Bradley Whitford or who it was, but they were supposed to be walking into their hotel room and they were going to catch the news and they would see this spot and then move on. You know what I mean? And it would have something to do with their next scene.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like a big part, but it was to me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, of
And
course.
you get cut for a lot of reasons. I mean, I edit now this little YouTube thingamajiggy that we do, and I edit shit all the time for the audio that Rick probably doesn't like or whoever doesn't like or whatever, you know. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like you edit things for a reason because you need to make it tighter or whatever.
Right.
But I went and saw that movie by myself because I wasn't even invited to the cruise show or nothing, which I thought was mean. I thought they should have invited me to the premiere or whatever. You know what I mean? Like because they do the cruise meetings or whatever, but it's okay. And they thanked me in the movie, whatever, you know, like in the credits, not in the movie, but I went and watched that movie, which was the stupidest thing for me to do because I cried the whole time. I was sitting in the theater alone. I know because I was so sad. But let me tell you something. That's the life of an actor.
Yeah.
And it's not like today where you can get the DVD with all the deleted parts, you know. They didn't really probably have that back then, did they?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure somebody has that. And something when I do make it big, they're going to come out with it and everything. But I don't know. I mean, I think they get rid of all that. But, you know, I mean, why would they keep it? I guess I could have asked for it. And that's something I did because I was so in my feelings about it. I was so upset about it. And I waited too long because I thought it would be in the movie. I was like, well, I'm going to have the movie. So I don't need. So it was a mistake I made. But, yeah, that will always be my most heartbreaking moment in LA. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. It is very strange going
Hard business.
just you have to actually enjoy acting, the craft of acting. I mean, I know we can talk about people who just got famous to be famous and they've had success, but when you think of the actors who are the really good actors,
Right.
none of them got into it because they're like, I'm going to win an Oscar. They love acting. And if you don't, because it is the weirdest thing to do if you don't love it. Like I would say, you know, Howard Fine says this, do anything else.
Oh.
Like
I just lost you guys that
Yeah,
whole
you
time.
disappeared.
It
You're
said
back.
reconnecting.
Yeah, you disappeared for a second, but you're back.
Wait, you see me now?
Yes, I see you.
I don't understand what's happening.
It's one of those nights.
It's all Ted's fault because he went on and he put the bad spirit in us.
Bad juju.
And it's messing up everything. I missed what you said, Kelly, because it.
Oh, I mean, I was saying,
you have
the
to
thing
love
about
acting.
is you have to love acting, which I genuinely do. And especially
I love
the more,
acting, but I don't like auditioning.
Well, yeah, I like auditioning live. The Zoom stuff is difficult for me, and I think I'm, you know,
That's
it's
newer.
a skill.
That's newer now.
It's a skill, and we have to do it.
Yeah,
and
that's a newer thing.
I've booked jobs with the Zoom callback, so like I've,
Yeah.
you know, been able, but even if you have the most, you know, blank reader, you know, like they're giving you nothing in the room, which is fine.
Right.
It's still easier for me to give something to that than just because even when I'm doing Zoom, like I can't, if I look right at the camera, I'm not looking at Carmen. I'm looking at a little hole in my camera, you know, like, so you want to connect with somebody and go off whatever. And it's sort of difficult. So auditioning is really hard, but I do really enjoy it. I love being able to
I love acting, but I like theater. You like film acting.
I do, but I love theater too. I just, right now, I'm trying to TV and film more. And I don't have a lot of theater training.
But Rick, you love acting.
I mean, I've never done it, but I mean, I enjoy the whole process of it. I've actually listened to a bunch of them lately that said like what you guys were just talking about, how now it's all on Zoom, it's all on video, and they're like, it's just not the same, you know, and like, you know, you're trading the nervousness and they're gonna like me, and be surrounded by people by being in the comfort of your home. But again, you can't see somebody, you can't play off of nobody. It's just you're looking at the
It just depends on what you're looking for. Because Brian, I'll answer your question in a minute. I think the difference that's really great about it being on Zoom or whatever, on camera or recorded or whatever, is you do get to see what somebody looks like on camera, which is actually what they're looking for when you're doing a film or TV show. You know what I mean? Of course, everything changes with lighting or whatever, and it's a lot for an actor to have all that. But SAG just, part of what they put in this new contract was provisions that people don't have to have an elaborate setup in order to audition, because that's been costing actors a lot of money and also a lot of jobs, you know? Yeah, and Cynthia asked, I used Cynthia once to read. That's right, because I was having a tough time finding someone, and she read with me so I could audition. Brian, no, just
that face said everything.
I know, I'm like, oh, I'm so screwed. No, for some reason, it wasn't. I don't think it was about that. I don't think it was a. I would have called you, but it wasn't a you thing. It wasn't something I could have you do. I forget what it was.
It's totally fine.
I don't know, but I would have called you, but it wasn't that. Brian asked, being on location is better than the stage. And I think what he means is filming in a television studio or on set versus being on stage. Let me tell you I love being on stage. I've done both film, television, and I've also done stage work, theater, live theater. Here's why I love theater more. It's not because I think acting is better. You know, there's this snooty thing about if you're a theater actor, you're better. That's not true, because I would give anyone qualms to go up against Viola Davis or Meryl Streep, or, you know what I mean? Like that's not how it is. For me, what I believe is I'm really good when I get on stage and I have no choice but to perform, right? You do not get to do a do-over, whether a phone rings or whether somebody trips accidentally or you mess up a line or your scene. You just have to go with it. And I'm really good. And I love that. I love the butterflies and the nervousness. For me, and Kelly will have a different experience and we'll share it. When I'm doing film, I haven't done a lot of television, but I've done quite a few films. I don't like the repetitiveness of film acting. So you go back and forth. We'll do a scene, like me and Kelly will do a scene here, and then we'll have to then do the same scene again because Rick has to come in and walk by. So we'll have to do the scene again with the camera here. Then we'll have to do Kelly speaking, doing the scene again without me being in the shot so the camera can do her. And then we'll have to do the scene again with the camera pointing at me. And so I have a really hard time being fresh every time and being alive in the moment. It takes such skill and such brilliance. And when you're working with so many people, by the way, that's just the problems with the camera. There's lighting issues, sound, actors fuck up their lines. I mean, you see scenes in a movie and they've probably been shot at least 10 times.
Yeah, I mean, at least. And then and then you have to reset, like, depending on what happens. If it's bad enough, it's like, well, there goes 30 minutes, lots of money. And it's sort of and you could be in the middle of like your monologue, like you're crying and they're like, cut, and just
makeup comes over and she fixes you.
And that's so multiple takes, right? Where in theater there is no multiple takes.
It's a big emotional, cathartic, and when you're like me and you're not a big name actor, it's take 6. I'm like, I don't know if I have tears left for you. To like, this is a lot of emoting over and over. And like you're saying, like because as the actor, of course, we have the whole script. We know what's going to happen.
Right.
But the whole point of that moment that you're filming or that scene is that your character doesn't. So you have to be just as heartbroken or whatever and let it surprise you. And then you might not get exactly emotional. I mean, if you're doing it right, it's not quite in the same spot every time, because unless you're a robot, you could just make yourself go, which I know some people can. I can't. I have to be really connected with it. Right. For that to come out.
That's why you take acting classes too, so that we can find that. But that doesn't work for me. Yeah. But let's also admit people don't know this. Films are not done in order. So that's the other reason why I love theater. Like theater, you have beginning, middle, and end, and you start the play and you go to the middle of the play and you go to the end of the play. Films are filmed in out of order. They're never in order. So Kelly might have this horrible scene at the end where her partner in business has died and she has to cry about that, and then she has to go and figure out how to tell, the staff, and that's the first shot of the movie. The whole, yet it might be the end of the film or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird.
And I'll just say this little tiny bit, because I've had a little tiny bit of experience with theater when I was in high school. And what I loved about it is you had rehearsals and you're with this group of people and you're going through it and you form this like bond and connection. And like you said, you're going through it in order, and then you're going through it in order, and it becomes like a living thing almost with the people that you're on, you're on the stage with, even if you're in the ensemble role and you're not one of the main roles.
Yeah.
And then, there's this excitement. And then you get out on stage and it's so exciting to put it all together and you've gone on this journey together. Now, that's not always how it is on TV and film acting, especially TV if you're like a day player under 5, which is, kind of my deal right now. I'm not bonding with these people. I have to come in, I get 2 seconds. And a lot of times the rehearsal is literally while they're shooting. Like they do one take and they're like, all right, do this for this take. And it's like, okay. And that's literally the rehearsal. You don't get all this time. So you got to be ready to go. And you're taking that from the audition room. And now you have a set. So to answer Brian's question of is on location, I think it's better. Because, of course, when I'm in my little room here pretending that I'm looking at a waterfall, I really got to go into my head, obviously, because I'm not looking at a waterfall. I'm looking at my box light. When you're on the location, yes, it makes it a lot easier in some ways to really get the vibe of I'm here and I believe it in my bones. I might not have to do quite as much work before I turn that, the camera gets turned on because you're there. But that was my brief experience with theater, and partially why I loved it, because I loved feeling like I was with like this band of people.
Michael
and we're all together.
Bubbles?
Yeah.
Michael Bubbles. Hello.
Hi, Michael Bubbles. Who's he calling Spider-Man?
Oh, I do Spider-Man back here.
You have Spider-Man in the back.
You know what's funny? I have a game at the end of my broadcast that I do every day, and today the question was, who's the person that whispers the lines on the side in the theater for people that forget their lines? And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And it was
Prompter.
Prompter. I was like, where's Carmen? We needed her today.
Well, okay, sometimes you forget your lines, but not when you're a professional.
Right.
Here's the thing I always tell actors who come to LA, because so many come and then they leave. Like, if your biggest problem is you can't memorize your lines, you cannot be an actor. Like, I don't even play the game like, oh, you know what? Here a different way. No, that is like thing
That's
number
like
one.
It's like a surgeon who faints from seeing blood. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
you kind of have to know how to memorize your lines. You got to just figure that out. I know this picture of this guy. I feel like it's somebody. Michael Bubbles, I know your picture. I don't know why you look like somebody. And I'm feeling horrible if I'm supposed to know you, but I know your picture. But hi, glad you're here.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. I feel like I should know who this is. Like, I'm feeling terrible. Rick, if you could be in any Michael Bublé.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Michael Bubbles. It's
but
Bubbles.
He's playing on.
Oh, is the picture of Michael Bublé?
It's not Michael Bublé, is it?
I think
so small, it's hard to see.
I can see it really big because it's huge.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know what I'm looking at here, but if you could pick a character in a movie that you wished you could play, Rick, who would it be? Is there a favorite character?
I was going to be funny and say Jack O'Neill just because of you.
Stargate SG-1. Oh my God, we're sci-fi buffs, Kelly. If you haven't figured it out with his whole thing in the background.
But if we were to go with that show, I'd rather be Daniel Jackson. To be honest with you.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
I know it's not your favorite, but I
like Michael Jackson, Dr. Daniel Jackson.
I like the geekiness, but yet super smart, but yet kind of awkward.
So you would like to play that role, like if you like in that show, it's like Star Trek, but not Star Trek. It's Stargate, like the movie. Okay, so you would want to play that role for all 10 seasons.
Yeah, I should be Vin Diesel. He said
Rick should be Vin Diesel. Oh, it's so funny.
I need a lot deeper voice.
Kelly, what role would you want to play if you could have played any role that's already been done?
Wow.
It could be film or television.
Well, TV role that I can think of, and when I say I grew up watching this, when I realized it, I was like, I don't think I should have been allowed to watch that at that age, but I would be Scully.
Oh,
X-Files.
From X-Files. I used to watch that with my dad when I was like 10. And my mom used to be like, Rick, don't let her watch that. But I loved that show.
Yes, we love that show too.
We love that show too.
I mean, Gillian Anderson is amazing.
She's an amazing actress. Oh,
she's amazing. And she's just like, not that she was bad before. Obviously, she was amazing before. And then she just keeps doing amazing things.
Well, because she's grown as an actress. I mean, she's just an incredible presence. But you could see it even like if you watch the pilot, because I watch that every once in a while too, because it's free on Comet or free on Pluto. Right? So you'll just like late up at night, watch it, whatever. And they had the pilot on, and I was like, oh my God, they were so young.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Yep.
I say that, but yeah.
It's so amazing.
I mean, I'm trying to think of, I feel like there's so many that I just go, now, so my brain goes blank because there's too many that I would want to play. But that one came to my mind when I was thinking of TV because.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I love
I'm jealous. I didn't think of that.
Investigative and scientific element of it. I love that. And especially her to Mulder. Obviously.
Yeah, that's where I would have failed because I would have not been able to say all the words that she says. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, no, I actually was thinking about, I wished, and this is going to be weird, but I loved the movie, even though it should not have been better than Color Purple back then. But Out of Africa, I wish I could have played the Meryl Streep role with Robert Redford. I'm just saying, we all have our reasons. No, but I mean, any role that Meryl Streep does, and now I look at Viola Davis kind of the same way. Yeah. The ability to take on any role and make it so exquisitely brilliant. And every time I think of her, I mean, I don't know if I could have ever I wouldn't even touch Sophie's Choice, right? Meryl Streep and Sophie's Choice is crazy amazing.
I mean, she's
amazing. But I think I could have done some damage on Out of Africa. I don't know if it would have worked because, skin color thing and everything. But I'm just saying, if we could be out there playing, and the love interest.
Yeah.
But yeah, what, Rick? I know you're trying to say something.
No, I was just going to say, maybe in the future they'll do like a sci-fi version of Out of Africa, and then you could be
Oh, no, a sci-fi version. Did you ever even see Out of Africa?
Yes, we talked about this movie.
Yeah, right,
I was mad because Color Purple didn't win awards because of that.
I know. Anyway. Oh, Color Purple coming out though.
Yes.
December 25th. Oh,
I know.
Okay, I have more questions about characters you would like to play. Wait, do you have anything else you want to say?
Me? Her?
Either one of you?
Kelly's.
I would also, and this is probably going to sound funny, but because I know my type, which is always like procedural, which I get. But I would also like to play, I'm thinking of, there's two roles in The Help that I would like to play. Jessica Chastain's role.
In The Help. Yeah.
In The Help. I can't remember her character's name.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in that movie is just, the acting across the board is amazing. And obviously Viola Davis, isn't it?
Well, that's what she won, didn't she? Oh, no, she didn't win for that.
Not for that one.
No, she won for the movie with Meryl Streep and The Nun. That's where she won her
first
Oscar. Doubt. That was so good.
And she had, her screen time was like
2 minutes. It was like ridiculous. It wasn't that much at all.
And that's the thing as an actor, like when you see somebody, you go, she was barely on the screen, and you
remember her.
Like it just like imprinted on you. You know what I mean? And I was just like, why is this woman not in like everything?
Yeah, she is now.
Well, yeah, now she is. I mean, obviously, but
she is
at
now.
that
Viola
time,
Davis
I don't know that she was as well known as she is now.
No, she wasn't. That's when she first started. I mean, that's when we were starting to get to know her. But okay, here's my question. Is there a role you'd never want to play? Rick?
Mm,
I would play anything. In my perfect world, I think I've told both of you this. In my perfect world, if I could work as an actor, and not audition and never audition ever again, because I don't ever want to. I'm not going to audition anymore. That's why I'm creating my own space. You know what I mean? Like I hate auditioning. But I would want to be like a Klingon in Star Trek, and only like the cult know who I really am. Like I've always thought that if I were going to be an actor, it would be as, with amazing makeup or whatever, and like in a way not hidden, but only real people who know the show or the movie would know it was me. Like that would have been my favorite. Because the idea of being unable to walk the street because like you're so famous, that would make me nauseous. Like I've seen it. I've seen people. I mean, I work for people who have to deal with that. I used to have to really deal with it, but I wouldn't even want that. I would really want kind of yeah. Brian just said, I'd love to play a villain or a villain's right-hand man. Yeah, that I could see. Or Jim Holden. Who's Jim Holden?
Oh, he's talking about the Expanse. Look at the
Oh,
previous.
I've never seen The Expanse. Yeah. A role that you guys would not want to play, if any at all.
I don't know that I have one that I wouldn't. I feel like it's such an actor thing. I want to try.
I want to try everything. Right.
Just give it to me. Let me see what I can do with it. I actually think villain would be really interesting, especially if you
I would love it.
Had a lot of like a really great story. Where you had an actual like a 3-dimensional villain. You know what I mean? Somebody that's got all this going on, and there's a reason why they kind of got into and became the way they did. I would love to do that.
Right. The first time I had an issue when I didn't have an issue, but they asked me. I did a short film, and it was in the beginning. This was years ago. In the beginning of when we were starting to talk about transgender, and I played like the aunt of the person, the lead, who is transgendered. And that was a big deal in the audition. Like, would we have a problem? And I was like, I was confused as to what the problem was. We had read the script. Like, why would I be here? But I remember that being an interesting, because short films are a little bit different. When people are doing independent films, they want to make sure everyone's comfortable with the subject. But I thought it was weird that they asked after they gave us the script and the sides. Like, if you didn't figure it out, you know what I mean? Like, and people like I remember when I met with an agent, they were like, would you do a nude scene? Would you do, a lesbian scene or whatever? I'm like, are you paying me? And it's tasteful. Yes. Like if it's Steven Spielberg asking me to do like a nude scene, yes. But if it's like a porn thing, no.
I think if it makes sense, within the framework and the story of the character and the whole story as a whole, okay. But if it's just, gratuitous, just so that we can get the shot of someone in lingerie, no.
What would be wait, Ricky, you going to answer the question or not?
The only thing I could think of is if, not that I wouldn't mind trying to play a villain, but if it's something where it's a murderer and you're seeing me actually murdering somebody, like really violently and gross.
It's a character though.
I know, but then like I don't want the rest of my life people like, oh, I remember you killed that girl. Like it would just be weird for me.
Because that would mean you're a great actor because they remember you. I would play a murderer in a heartbeat. What would be the most challenging role to play? Oh, that's a great Brian. That's a good question.
I guess it would have to be something that is completely opposite of who you are.
Maybe. I think for me, which I've thought about this, if it's,
I have my answer.
Okay,
go ahead. You're thinking.
Yeah, definitely agree with what Rick just touched on. Something that's very opposite you in in whatever your sort of baseline personality is. But I found that you can usually find that if you but when I'm with my kids, I'm like this, or when I'm buzzed, I'm like that. So how do I tap into that energy, but not because I'm buzzed, but because I'm using it for the character? But I do agree with that. I know for me, if I was playing a influencer, you know, if you're doing this stereotypical Gen Z influencer, that would be hard for me because I'm not, that's hard for me to access and I'd have to figure that out, you
I
know?
love
And
you said Gen Z. Are you Gen Z? No, I'm
no,
just kidding.
no,
Like you said, I know,
No.
like she lowering her age now. Just kidding.
no, I
Um,
don't think I could, but I'm
I'm
saying like
totally
that for,
messing. I was messing with you,
yeah,
girl.
that for me would be like, no, I
Kidding
couldn't
with you.
reach that age at all.
Cynthia said, I would love to play any character. Zoe Salanda, another great actress, has
She's
played
amazing.
because she is amazing. She is amazing.
Yeah.
And then Brian said, meeting Kane Hodder was awesome. Childhood dream come. I don't know who that is. Should I know who Kane Hodder is?
I'm gonna look it up on Google.
Okay. So I remember another great acting coach I had who was not Howard Fine. I never promote this place because I think it was one of the most horrible places I took acting classes at. But this one instructor made this great point. He's like, we've all murdered before. And of course, the whole class was like, what the hell's he talking about? You know what I mean? Like I was like, whenever a mosquito bites you and you go like that, or you get rid of a roach or whatever it is, that is exactly the same type of, that's a morsel of what it is to play that character, right? That's where you would take some of that from. There's most murderers, when they do all the psychological background information, they don't think that they're murderers. They're justified in doing what they think they're doing, right? So, I mean, that's the thing about acting is anyone who plays a villain or plays a bad person or a killer or a serial killer, whatever, the reason why we end up sometimes cheering for them or the abuser or whatever it is because you put some humanity in them, because you realize they think from their point of view, they're doing the right thing or they're doing it for a reason. So you can't look at it as a murderer. You have to look at it as a person who thinks he has a reason or right to kill. And then it becomes a much more interesting character, right? That I would play a murderer in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I would do it. You kidding me? I would love okay, this is what I love about acting. I love the research, baby. Give me the role. I'm gonna research that shit. I'm gonna be on point. I had to do a play called I forget the name of it. Clean House. I forget what it was, but I had to do a Portuguese accent. I told you this, Rick. I did the research. I was so good. I met with people who were Portuguese, got the accent down. Unbelievable.
Oh no.
Is it me?
I always play housekeepers. Back then, I was always playing housekeepers. But I got paid, so I don't care. That was fine. That was my type. Housekeeper.
Unfortunately, you froze for a little bit for a second there. Sorry.
Again?
Yeah, but it was temporary. It was very temporary.
You know what's so weird? I haven't seen it once on my end, and I think what's going to happen is I'm going to see the recording, and it's not going to happen again. I don't understand.
I hope it doesn't. Yeah.
But last time you said it too, and it didn't happen, and
Yeah,
I don't see it on my end. I saw the reoccurring. I got to fix it because I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, I was thinking about, there was a show, Tom Holland did it, the one that did Spider-Man. And it was that on Netflix? I forget, but he played a character that was multiple personalities.
Oh yeah.
And it was a really, really good show. I forgot what it's called, but that I think would be challenging, but I think that would be fun. Like, remember I told you, Carmen, when Daniel Jackson was inhabited by all those different people?
Stargate SG-1. I know
that would be fun. I think that would be a fun
that
challenge.
takes such a skill of acting. This is what people don't understand.
Yeah.
So in Stargate SG-1, Daniel Jackson, the character, walks into a ship and he inhabits the souls of people on the ship. His body consumes the souls, and he starts, each soul comes forward in his body and starts speaking. So he's like an 8-year-old kid. He's a captain. He's a crew member. He's a woman, mother, whatever. And he goes in and out of it. It is a spectacular episode just to watch his ability. I don't know why people don't love sci-fi. I mean, his skill level is on point. Yeah. I would not want to do that because it would be too hard for me. I will be honest about that. I think that would be hard. I'm not that good.
He did say challenging, so that's why I bring
Yeah,
it up.
challenging. Yeah. Chris Hemsworth actually is a much better actor than people give him credit for. He
I
was
agree.
amazing in Extraction and Extraction 2. And those are not usually my genre, but I'm gonna see that boy in anything. Okay. Anything. Okay. But he was really good. He's a great actor. I think he's a great actor.
Yeah. I think sometimes too, because he's been in, in these more action things, but people don't realize how good that person. And I think maybe like Bradley Cooper too, like he was kind of a pretty boy, right? If we're gonna label somebody, but he's an amazing actor.
Man.
What's that
But
word?
pretty,
Typecasting?
yeah, typecasting. And so sometimes it's like these people are incredible actors, and you're sort of trying to get like I remember they did, I think it was on the Graham Norton show, and when he did Ghostbusters, Chris Hemsworth did the first Ghostbusters, and
Oh,
it
that's
was
right, with the
the
women.
all-female
Right, with women, yeah.
cast, and they were all talking about how they're like, we never rooted so hard for somebody to be a complete like a-hole, and he was not, and then they were like, and he was so funny. It's not
Yeah.
He was
fair.
hilarious.
It's not fair.
He is very funny. Yeah.
And they were like, he was amazing, and it was just so funny to hear them all be like, we really wanted to not like, not like him, and then he was of course incredible.
He's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart. He just seems like a sweetheart. I don't want to hear nothing bad about him either. Don't come to me with nothing. I don't want him getting divorced. I don't hear nothing about Chris Hemsworth. He is like, we're gonna package him and leave him alone. Who's James McAvoy? Should I know who that is?
He did
Remember Xavier in the younger X-Men?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that movie Glass, that was wow. Yeah, he was
that.
good.
Yeah, Glass is what I was thinking. Yeah, and he was in Atonement. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Are they on? Are these guys on again?
Again?
Are they going on again, Brian and them? It's past 7.
I thought they already did it. They're gonna go twice?
I don't know. They went on for 2 minutes.
I don't know. Brian,
You know what? I don't even care. I don't even know what you just wrote, Brian.
Go shifte farahani.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I can't say the name because I'm hacking it. Badass for sure, absolutely. So look, I'm going to wrap this up. I just want to say a few things. Number one, I want to wish our friends, all of our Jewish friends, or anyone who celebrates, I want to say Happy Hanukkah. I guess Happy Hanukkah is probably not the best way to say it right now with everything that's going on, but I want to wish our Jewish friends and anyone who celebrates a wonderful and beautiful holiday season. Today is the first evening of Hanukkah. That's number one. I do want to give love and joy to Norman Lear. And, we talk a lot about allies. We kind of throw that word around. But he actually was somebody who took all these risks at a time back then when you really shouldn't have been able to. And I just hope we can all be more like that, taking risks to do the right thing no matter what, to showcase people who are marginalized or treated badly just for being who they are and existing.
Kind of like Gene Roddenberry. Do you mean to interrupt you? But yes, same
No.
thing.
That's a great point, just like Gene Roddenberry. I mean, I don't know where all those people are. Michael, I don't even know why you always do this, but especially on my show, I think he just does it because he knows I'm going to yell at him. So we're not going to do that. So I just want to say those two things. And then the other thing I'm going to say, which I always say, is Facebook people have been adding on the page. Rick, I think in the past, week, we now have 80 people. I had 5 people on Facebook, and now we have 80. So thank you. LinkedIn people, love you so much. YouTube, we can have some more YouTube followers, please. I would appreciate some more YouTube followers. But you know what? We're just really grateful that you guys come. And also, what are we doing tomorrow, Rick?
Joint broadcast with Late Night Parents.
Yes, so we will be back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be meeting with these knuckleheads.
Exactly.
I don't know how long we're going to last because, whatever. But, yeah, Brian, me and you, we're going to fight. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope you'll come again.
Yes, I will. I mean, thank you so much for having me.
And nice
So
to meet you.
meet you.
Will you come on when you get your first nomination and everything? I just want that recorded.
Yes, I
Yeah.
will.
With
Okay.
the thing,
I with
the
my
Oscar, whatever.
name in the nomination list, like really tiny. There it is. Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to thank Carmen for reading with me.
Give
She's
me
not
a
gonna
break,
remember
man.
me. She gonna
Yes,
be like,
I
Carmen, or her people gonna call me and be like, we have changed our number, and she
No,
don't know what you're talking
no.
about.
She knows that's not how. I mean, I think that's one of the things that I'm grateful for about getting into it at this point because I actually want to do it and I feel like I have some type of grounding.
No, you have people who supporting you because we believe in
Yeah.
your talent, and we're not gonna bullshit you, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the hard part is people. Whatever it is you want to do in your life, you have to get the right people around you to support you. Not just anybody, not just everybody. You got to get the right people who are gonna tell you the truth and who are gonna say to you, "We love you. We think this is good. We think this is bad, but we're gonna be here no matter what." And I that's the only kind of people I want in my life. I don't know why Rick's here, but he got some type of wasn't really kidding. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you stopping by, and we will keep shining our light. I don't know how powerful it is, but thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you, and remember, it's always all about the joy. Bye.
See
I'm
ya.
saying bye, but I don't know where the end the stream thing is. So wait a
Kelly, you
second.
don't have to disappear right now, by the way. It was
Yeah,
she
don't
finds the
log
button.
off yet, Kelly.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh, here it is. Okay.
It's on
Okay.
it.
It's at the bottom over here. Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you.